Well, g'day fishos. Port Stephens Friday fishing report time. And I tell you what, we've had enough rain to last us well through to next year, I reckon. Holy dooly. Had some rain come down. I think that's the whole east coast of New South Wales at the moment. So what's happening with the bay at the moment? Yes, the water's pushed down. Obviously, it's dirty water pushing down at the moment, but that's a good thing. Coming into the winter season, obviously, we get this time of year a lot of bream that start to congregate and obviously getting ready to spawn. So that'll actually flush them down from the river systems, the Karua, the Tilligary, and obviously the mole systems, and they'll move into the lower half of the bay. And this time of year, they congregate in good numbers along the breakwall. So Nelson Bay breakwall, obviously the breakwall at the anchorage, Wanda Headland, the walls in the islands up towards Soldiers Point. So if you're in the boat, up towards that sort of area. And also around Tea Gardens, around the shortcut wall and in onto Jimmy's Beach, which is good fun this time of year. You can go and chase bream on lures, you can chase them on baits, incoming tide, and away you go. So it'll flush plenty of bream down the system at the moment. Along with it, there'll be some predators like mulloway. And yep, it is the time to go and catch a mulloway. It's a great time of year if you want to target mulloway, especially in the estuary and also around the headlands and the local beaches as well. So the reason for it is, like I said, the bream are sort of starting to congregate to spawn. Those bigger mulloway feed on those, but also it's the mullet run. We're right in the middle of the mullet season. So the predators are there, and it'll definitely be worth chasing a few mulloway in the estuary, especially around our rock walls. And then up towards Soldiers Point there, as we get those tides moving through, the water will clear up. Bay clears up pretty quickly. It'll only take a couple of weeks and we'll sort of have some clear water in the bay. Down on the breakwall at Nelson Bay as well, a few ludricks starting to appear. It's not far before they really hit their straps. They'll move into the estuary systems and do their spawning thing as well. So a few being caught down on the breakwalls. Also Shoal Bay Wharf, and also the wharf at Little Beach, being the western wharf there on the high tide. There's been some ludrick around there at the moment. I keep getting asked about longtails in the bay. With the longtails, they'll come in with the high tide and they'll meet that dirty water, and obviously that's where the food will be. This time of year, there's a lot of garfish in the bay, especially around Shoal Bay. So they will feed on the garies there, and they have been sighted this week. A lot of anglers casting lures at them, but unfortunately not getting the hookups. But if you be patient, they will come in on that incoming tide, and we've got some good incoming tides during the mornings over the weekend. So give that a crack as well. Like I said, Shoal Bay, plenty of garfish in at Shoal Bay there at the moment. The water is reasonably clear in there. So you can get a feed of garies there, either off the wharf or out of the boat at the moment as well. Now, just on first light, you will get those tailor, and just on last light, there's plenty of good chopper tailor off the wharf there as well at the moment. So bay fishing pretty well. To be good this weekend, I think, with the forecast. Although the wind's not looking too bad, it's more going to be if we get that rain, but it is forecast more to the south at the moment. Now, on the beaches and rocks, unfortunately, swell has sort of, I guess, made it hard to fish some of the rock ledges and the beaches this week, although there was a couple of windows. I know Fingal has been extremely good with some really nice bream on the beach at Fingal at the moment, so if you're keen to get up there. Our local salted mullet fillet's been doing the trick up there. I know a customer came in, he had a cracking bream that went 46 centimetres caught off the beach during the week. So definitely worth a shot on the bream up on sort of Fingal there towards the spit there. Hasn't been any sign of redweed or anything like that, so Fingal's looking pretty good for a fish at the moment. I think the swell's supposed to come up a little bit this weekend. That's the forecast anyway. But also be worth a shot driving down onto Samurai. Some good gutters down on Samurai at the moment. And of course, if National Parks open Ruby Beach, it'll be worth a drive down there as well. But we'll wait and see what happens there. Like I said, mulloway on the beaches and also the headlands at the moment. So any of those rocky headlands that meet sand with some gutters next to them, definitely worth a shot at a mulloway. You can throw some big plastics in there. We've just got some of the new cast backing, the big 8 inches, which are fantastic for throwing a beach mulloway at this time of year. You can actually put a treble underneath there and away you go. So worth a shot on some mulloway on the beaches at the moment. Have a spin at the moment in the washes. You'll find with those mullet schools, there'll be some big tailor in behind that, and obviously, like I said, garfish around as well, so some big tailor around. And we just got a fresh load of garies in yesterday. I salted those down, they're ready to go. If you want to chase some bigger tailor off the beaches, With the rocks, still some longtails around. Young KO sent me a photo last night. He got an 11 kilo longtail off the rocks. But sharks have been a problem, especially at one particular ledge. I know some guys that came in, every longtail they hooked virtually got sharked. So I wouldn't be putting my toe in the water around a certain headland at the moment, unfortunately. But it's been an occurrence that's been going on as far as I've fished that ledge back in the 90s. So it's nothing new with sharks. It's just when they turn up in numbers, unfortunately. And that's what's happening at the moment. But definitely a chance for longtails. May's a really, really good time for longtails, and we usually get the bigger ones as well. Be worth a shot for a snapper. We're just off the back of the new moon, and it is a really, really good time to go and target snapper off the rocks if we get a little bit of swell. At the moment, the best way I reckon to target snapper, either a whole gurry, whole pilly, and throw it in the wash, weighted, or just a small pea sinker, and that's a good way to catch a snapper off the rocks at the moment. So definitely worth a shot there. Plenty of bream in the washes too, so it's a time of year to go and soak some baits around the rocks for a few bream, and I think you'll do pretty well around the headlands at the moment. Now on the offshore scene, a few people got out during the week, some nice snapper around the reefs. I got asked yesterday, what is the water like offshore at the moment? Well, one of my sources, Benny, told me that the water is green, but it's not brown like it should be. It takes a while for Port Stephens to push that flood water out. But he said it's definitely green, but as it should be this time of year. We're not going to get our blue cobalt water as we normally do in the summer months, but he said it looks like perfect snapper water. So at the moment, plenty of bait in it as well. So definitely worth a shot if we can get out this weekend to have a crack at some snapper in the shallow reefs on soft plastics or get a burley trail going. Benny did mention he fished some deeper reefs yesterday, got a couple of nice mulloway up to about 12 kilos, so some nice mulloway. He said he got a mixed bag of trag as well, so some good reef fishing at the moment off Port Stephens if you want to fish some of those reefs. If we can get out there this weekend, the big gibber worth a shot this time of year. Big gibber fires for trag at this time of year. If you're chasing those mulloway, definitely the outer 21, the outer V, fish pretty well too. But in closer, you want to fish around the sisters there and also around North Island for a few snapper. Wouldn't be surprised there's still a cobia around, even though the water has gone a little bit discoloured. Cobia don't mind at all. There's still a chance, and at this time of year, it's going to be a good cobia if you do find one. That is for sure. Now, closer to home around the islands, Little Island, Big Island, worth a shot for an early morning snapper. There'll be some big tail around the washes at the moment. Still some bonito around if you want to go for a troll as well. So worth it around the islands. Have a wash fish. This is the time of year I like getting into having a wash fish for drummer and brim. So throw a big peel prawn in the washes and you should do all right on the drummer and brim. Likewise, the front of Fingal. You get some really nice tailor in front of the bommies at Fingal at this time of year. So if you want to throw some surface lures in there or throw some gurries and pillies, you will get some big tailor out the front of Fingal at this time of year. And further south, if the swell allows, down off Boat Harbour, the bommies there, you want to go and have a drift down there with the plastics, there should be some nice snapper. So on the offshore scene, haven't heard too much, obviously, because we can't get out there at the moment. I believe the water is still warm. Haven't been able to get a really good rip chart. Obviously, identification there with the cloud cover. I think the water is still pretty good. So if you manage to want to run to the shelf, it'd be definitely worth a shot. The current has slowly backed off, so it'd be definitely worth a look if you can to go and fish for barcod at this time of year. Is getting to that time of year where we like to go barcod fishing, that is for sure. Anyway, that's it for our fishing report this weekend. Hopefully the rain holds off. I think we'll get a few showers. Hopefully it's not as bad as last weekend. At least the winds are down, so you'll definitely be able to get out there for a fish this weekend. Anyway, that's it for this week. Pretty good report.